Hey everybody, this is Perch. One of the things that happens with comics is that there's often a lack of patience, and not for bad reasons or not for good reasons. Wait, which one is it here? There's good reasons why people often aren't patient, and it's because you run out of money, or comics, unfortunately, from a business perspective, is a very capital intensive startup effort. And I say capital intensive, by the way, and I mean it's all relative. I think if you were able to raise $1 to $2 million, you could probably do a lot with that money as long as you thought, more like a business person and less like you were trying to make a comic company. But you need this startup capital to really start to fund a little bit of what you're doing and get some product out into the market and then figure out where that product fits. And you're probably more successful if you're able to do a decent amount of market research, really figure out some good destination points for comics. It is amazing to me how many small publishers, their business plan really is, hey, we need to get a relationship with Diamond. We need to get Diamond to distribute our book. And that's our only plan. Like that's as far as we've gone. That's all the thinking that we've done. If you're a new company starting up, and that's your only plan. Like you got to get that Diamond relationship, and then we're going to make some comics, and then we'll see what happens. You're not going to be big, and you're not going to be successful. That's not enough of a recipe to be successful. You got to think beyond that. But oftentimes people don't because they're in a hurry. They're running out of money. Or they don't have any money, and they've got to get things going, or they're operating at such a low budget that they don't have a big picture in mind. They don't have, they haven't seen what big time distribution looks like. It's hard to get access to that because the comic industry isn't exactly forthcoming with a lot of these things. There's a lot of people who work in the comic industry who have no idea about how this stuff works, and they're not dumb. They have no exposure to it, and in some cases with good reason. They're intentionally shielded from some of this data. I think that's one of the reasons, by the way, in the chat I had on the live stream with Sean Murphy, we talked about the viability of a union. And the union, a union. The part of the problem is, but as you said in the show, the union needs leverage. But the other thing it needs is it needs a really clear plan. I think Sean was hitting on this, and I didn't pick up on it enough. It's that when people say I want a union, what do you want it for? Like what are your three goals that you want? And if you don't have those goals really clearly in mind, then you're just going to waste a lot of time and money and probably have very questionable results out the other end. Uh, it is the comic industry. It's tough because the other thing that happens, like I should do this video at some point, a more structured video, like the 5 mistakes that people always make when they're getting into comics. But I mentioned the putting all your eggs in the diamond basket is certainly one of them. But a close second is hiring people who have been in the comic industry. And that may sound counterintuitive because it's like, well, don't you want people with experience? Don't you want people you know? And chances are a lot of people, their love for comics, it takes them on this journey where they love comics, they want to be involved in comics, they want to start doing stuff with publishing or anything else. They're going to reach out to people they know. Those people that they meet are in the comics industry. You get some advice from them and you grow. But unfortunately, the bubble is not growing out. It's constantly sucking in. And that's where you see a lot of people get hired. You see, like, I think Gail Simone had a job, Mark Wade had a job, and they come in and they advise, consult, creative director, whatever it happens to be. They help with these companies. And this is not me doing a video to bash Simone or Wade, but it's like, their best ideas are still going to be ideas that you've seen before, ideas that are comic ideas. I'm not talking about creative things. I'm not talking about stories. I'm talking about business ideas. It's like if you have somebody who's run a paint store for his entire life, and then you want to go open up a barber salon, and you're like, well, this guy's worked in a business, let's bring him over. He's not going to know what the hell he's doing because he's had his entire history selling paint. this is a terrible analogy, actually, as I'm coming to think of it. Hopefully my point is still coming across. The point is that you can't keep hiring from within the very same small closed group and expect radically new ideas to emerge. Can it happen? Sure. Everybody has the opportunity to have a crazy, wild new idea, but it's unlikely it's going to happen. So we get back to that, the comic industry, when you're getting into it, you need to be able to get through what is potentially a very long slog of of failed ideas, of problems. I mean, there's a lot that you have to go through, and most people won't do it. They won't survive that process. They won't stick it out. They either, because they run out of money, or they run out of patience, or they run out of attention, or they don't, they kind of forget that it took a long time for DC and Marvel to get where they are. And so if you're trying to, become stable and self-sufficient, first off, you're going to be hiring from a pool that is used to Marvel and DC practices and money. And so they're going to bring in that mentality and that thinking. And on top of that, it's going to take you a very long time. You're going to run out of money before you get there. And that's why I think so many became charmed and enamored with this idea that you could, you can make comics and then quickly get them sold off to Netflix, and then you can make millions of dollars off that. And you can use that money to funnel back into comics, make more comics that can be funneled to Netflix, and you have this nice circular business model where cash is just coming out of everywhere. It's every angle. But if you look at the people and the deals that were done of comic books to movies outside of the big two, a lot of them were either run or repped by somebody who had very good close interaction with somebody in Hollywood. Somebody knew how to get it done, not somebody within the comic industry. Like look at Mike Millar. He was able to go spin some of these deals. He was leveraging the help of some people outside of the industry, and he was making a lot of friends and connections with people outside of comics to help him get this done. He wasn't going and calling 10 of his buddies in comics and saying, "Hey, let's make a giant movie empire. How do we do it?" Well, we can probably figure it out. We're all good comic people. That's the challenge, is where a lot of this stuff just dies on impact, because there's neither the time nor the expertise nor the money to get it anywhere. And so if you're starting up a comic, if you want to do your own comic publisher, then you've got to accomplish, two of the three things. So you can't do it with just one. So either you need a lot of money, you need a lot of time, or you need a lot of quality. Now, hopefully, you can do all, you can get all three. If you have time, money, and quality, that's great. That's a unicorn, almost mystical kind of idea I just mentioned there. But who knows? Maybe you're lucky and you somehow are a ton of money. You're in no rush to spend it, but you can spend it freely, and you somehow have access to amazing quality. That's great. If that's you, that's awesome. But generally speaking, nobody has all three. So then you need two. Either you need a lot of money and a lot of time to wait it out, or a lot of money and really high quality. You can kind of shoot the moon and get something going quickly, or you have a lot of quality and a lot of time. But you can't, if you only have one of those. If you just have a lot of money, you're probably just going to waste that money. If you just have a lot of time, you're probably not going to get anywhere. And if you just have a lot of quality, you would hope quality would shine through, but clearly, as proven in this industry time and time again, it does not. You have to have two out of those three. I kind of hit a bunch of topics there in a very unstructured way. This is the problem I'm driving, and this is where I need my PowerPoint to really make this work. At any rate, I'm going to go more into these topics because I've been asked by a number of you, hey, I want to start a comic, or I want to start a publisher. What should I look out for? What should I do? I think there are easy ways that you can give this a go. You just have to have some good expectations going in. You have to understand how much money you're willing to lose, or how much time you're willing to spend kind of up front, and then where you're going to go to get your content and your time. And, and I think there's a lot of factors to that. But anyway, I hope this, a little time to talk to you about business. I hope that was entertaining. Who knows? You'll let me know in the comments below, right? I'm sure you will. Hey, like, subscribe. Again, you've probably already done this, but if this content's interesting, like. If it's just kind of half interesting, then do nothing. And if you hate it, I didn't say cuck enough during the video. You can give it a thumbs down. It's up to you. Anyway, thanks for listening.